What is up, you guys? Gold Cody here today in the new 2019 Chevy Suburban, courtesy of Apple Chevrolet in York, PA. This thing is a beast. Definitely one to consider if you have kids or just a bunch of people that live with you or a ton of friends. But before I get ahead of myself, as always, you guys, let's start with pricing. And so there will be several different trim levels available for the 2019 Suburban. First one being the LS, that is going to start at $50,600. Then you have the LT for $55,600 and the Premier starting at $65,300. By the way, that was pricing for the 4x2 version. If you wanted to go with the four-wheel drive, which I would recommend in this one, that is going to add $3,000 to any of those prices. But so that regardless of trim level, for the most part, Powerplant is going to be the same. Powering the beast is going to be a 5.3-liter Ecotec 3 V8 engine, putting out 355 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 383 pound-feet of torque available at 4,100 RPM. Power is either going to be sent to the rear wheels or all wheels through that four-wheel drive system, and that power is going to be sent to the ground through a standard 6-speed automatic with MPG numbers coming in at 16 in the city, 23 on the highway. But that is not the engine setup we have today, like I said, for the most part, because there is one optional engine package that is going to be the RST Performance Edition package, which is available only for the Premier trim level that we have today. But that one is going to be a 6.2-liter Ecotec 3 V8, putting out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, again sent to all four wheels through a 10-speed automatic in this one, actually. And when you put all that together in this beast of an SUV, 0 to 60 time is actually said to come in right at around 6 seconds flat, which is ridiculous for as large of an SUV that this is. But of course, numbers are just numbers, so let's put this thing to the test. Let's do a quick little acceleration, see how quickly we can get this new 2019 Suburban here RST package up to speed. Wow, okay, this thing is pretty ridiculous for being such a large SUV. Instantly gets you up to speed. Absolutely no issues with merging onto the highway or driving down the Autobahn. This thing is definitely quite quick. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so the 2019 Suburban will come standard with four-wheel disc brakes. As far as the braking feel goes, I would say you do have to press down slightly more than other SUVs, but it still does bring you to the same kind of stop. And I will say, in addition to that, available for the RST package, there is an available Brembo brake package, which is actually going to up those front rotors to 16.1 inches and give you 6-piston front calipers as well. So if you did want some serious stopping power, that is once again available for you. And touching on the handling and suspension a little bit, steering feel is nice. It's not too heavy, not too loose, so it is on point for a larger SUV. And if you did not go with the Premier trim level, Chevy does give you what's called a premium smooth ride suspension. And by the sounds of the name there, that one does sound like it is going to be quite smooth. But the Premier trim level that I have today actually does one better, because the Premier does come with magnetic ride control. And what that's going to do is monitor each wheel independently and constantly adjusting the suspension every millisecond, not only giving you a smoother ride, but it will also firm up the suspension around cornering, which is going to reduce body roll, so it's going to give you better handling and a smoother ride. Best of both worlds, definitely nice there. And then as far as visibility goes, I will say this is a quite large SUV, so you are of course going to have some blind spots in the back two corners there. But I will say one thing I like about this one is those third row headrests, they actually tuck down into the seats, so if that third row was not in use, you can simply push them down into the seats, and that reduces the blind spots that the headrest would have caused if you had them up. But either way, I will say I own a 3-row SUV myself, although not anywhere near as large as this one, but you do get used to it, so if you were concerned about the blind spots, don't be. And in addition to that, this one does have blind spot warning indicators in the side mirrors as well, so that is going to assist with lane changes and things like that. But enough with the driving dynamics, you guys. Let's check out the exterior and a couple new things as well in this 2019 Chevy Suburban. And so let me first start by touching on the colors for the 2019 Suburban. To start, there are two eliminated colors for 2019, including Havana Metallic and Tungsten Metallic as well, and the new color that is replacing those is going to be Shadow Gray Metallic if you were interested. But regardless, up front you will get a black mesh front grille for the LS and LT trim levels, and there will be a front grille with chrome bars if you go with the Premier trim level. Taking a look at the sides there, halogen headlights do come standard with the LS and LT, and you do get the automatic feature if you go with the LT trim level and up, meaning those headlights will turn on automatically for you, so you don't have to worry about fiddling with that. And if you go with the Premier trim level that you're looking at right now, you you will get HID headlamps up front, and you will get fog lights below with the Premier as well. But so then make your way to the side on this one, power adjustable body colored heated side mirrors will come standard for every single trim level, and those side mirrors will come with integrated turn signals if you go with the Premier. However, zooming out a little bit, on all trim levels you will get rear privacy glass as well as roof rails up top if you needed them, and there are black assist steps as well for every single trim level, which is definitely useful in this one because the Suburban does sit a little bit higher than most SUVs out there. But then taking a look down below, when it comes to the wheel setup, 18-inch aluminum alloys will come with the LS and LT, and if you go with the Premier, standard setup is going to be 20-inch aluminum alloys, and of course the RST is going to give you specific wheels to that package, and there are plenty of wheel options available if you were interested. But make your way to the back on this one. You do get a rear spoiler with the integrated brake light that comes standard. Also just below that, a rear window wiper as well. By the way, that rear window wiper is actually tucked nicely underneath that rear spoiler if you were wondering where it was. But then another new thing for 2019 is the Premier trim level badging is going to be slightly altered. Not a new feature, but a little difference there. And since we're around back, when it comes to the towing capacity, that is going to come in at 6,300 pounds, or if you go with an optional towing package that we have today, that is going to give you a towing capacity of up to 8,300 pounds. That's definitely impressive. And just below it all, a single exhaust outlet. That's what you're looking at, of course. So as always, you guys, here is that exhaust clip. But now, since we are around back, to open that rear hatch, there actually is a button on the key fob, so I'm just simply going to press that. But if you do not want to, there is a manual liftgate with the LS, a power liftgate for the LT, and a hands-free liftgate if you go with the Premier. But once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 39.3 cubic feet behind that third row. That is insane. Most 3-row SUVs will give you somewhere around 13 to 15 cubic feet. This one gives you nearly 40 cubic feet. Definitely a good bit of space, but if you go with the Premier trim level, you will get power folding third row seats as well. So I do have that, so that is how that works there. And if you fold that third row down, cubic feetness comes in at 76.7, definitely a ton of space. And with all rows folded down, you could probably throw a mattress back there and live in this thing, because that cubic feet is going to come in at 121.7, ton of space back there. By the way, there is a 110 volt power outlet in that cargo area for tailgate parties as well. But now let's check out the legroom on this one. Third row legroom is going to come in at 34.5 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Jumping up to the second row, it is a little more generous, of course, coming in at 39.7 inches. Again, 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had. And for those second row passengers, they will get heated seats if you go with the Premier, so that is definitely pretty nice. And tri-zone climate control is actually going to come standard on every single trim level, meaning driver, passenger, and rear passengers can set their own climate. And by the way, that ventilation is located on the roof of this one, so all 3 rows will be comfortable. But make your way to the front seats. Cloth seating is going to come with the LS. If you go with the LT and Premier, you will get leather seating. And for every single trim level, all trims are going to give you power adjustable front seats. But then looking forward, there is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It is leather wrapped in all trim levels and heated on the Premier. And when it comes to the startup, let me first start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Chevy logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock, those 2 buttons to pop the rear hatch, and the button in the center with the circle there, that is going to be a remote start, which by the way does come standard on every single trim level. That is definitely nice. And if you wanted a push button start, you will have to go with the Premier that we have today. So actually, that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put my foot on the brake and press that push button start there. And then once started up, those gauges will do a full sweep. Tachometers on your left, speedometers on your right, and there is a digital display front and center. And to control what is on that digital display, there are steering wheel mounted controls on the right side of the steering wheel for that. That's going to give you things like a digital speedometer, which is what I would leave it on, as well as your average fuel economy, how many miles you have left until you hit empty on this one. There's also your oil life meter, so you know when you need your next oil change. There's also tire pressure for each individual tire and a couple other things as well. But now let's take a look at the overall interior quality on this one, because I do have a power sunroof today, which I am loving, and that is optional on the LT and Premier. It's part of a Sun Entertainment and Destination package, and that is also going to add a rear seat entertainment system. So for those rear passengers, they can play Blu-rays and all watch that screen together. That is pretty cool. But in addition to that, all trim levels are going to give you a overhead sunglass holder, and right in front of that sunglass holder is that rear mirror that's kind of like a school bus setup, so you could spy on your rear passengers in the back seat. It's kind of cool. But wireless phone charger as well I have today. That is going to come with a Premier only, and if your phone was slightly too big for that wireless phone charger, there are dual USB ports up front as well, so you can still charge your phone, of course. And overall, this Premier is finished definitely quite nice with all the soft touch leather as well as wood trim around the center console and the doors there too, and there are HomeLink controls for up to 3 different garage doors on the roof there. But now let's make our way to the tech on this one a little bit. There is an 8-inch color touchscreen display that comes standard on every single trim level, and every single trim level is also going to give you Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. That's always one I like to emphasize, because that actually gives you a free navigation system through your smartphone, as well as the ability to like and dislike your Pandora songs up there, which I used on my drive here, by the way. And if you go with the Premier trim level, you will get standard a factory navigation system as well, and you can check out weather updates up there if you wanted to, as well as your radio settings. And when it comes to the sound system, the LS is going to give you 6 speakers, LT is going to give you a 9-speaker Bose sound system, and the Premier is going to give you a 10-speaker Bose Centerpoint surround sound system. So you guys know what we got to do next. Let's turn on the radio, see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. This sound system has a ridiculous amount of bass. I bet you my camera was probably jumping a little bit there, but definitely more than enough clarity, and the bass again is ridiculous on this one. Gotta love it. But then last thing on the tech display I wanted to mention is when you do put the Suburban in reverse, you will get a reverse camera for every single trim level, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead me into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags. Also, there is an additional front center airbag, and that's kind of a unique feature to the Tahoe and Suburban, because that is going to prevent the driver and passenger from colliding with each other in the event of a collision, so that's pretty nice. In the back, there is latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also back there, rear child door locks, and you will get a StabiliTrak stability control system with traction control. And if you go with the LT trim level or Premier, you will get forward collision alert, and there is adaptive cruise control available for this one as well. And so that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay gold.